another jewelry making video brought to you by keepsakecrafts.net. Today begins the first part in a two-part series on turning a polished ammonite into a great statement necklace. I'll teach you how to wire wrap the ammonite and also how to add accents to your necklace. So to make this necklace, the first thing you will need is something to wire wrap. And I have this ammonite. I just was entranced by it when I first saw them. This one's about 1 3/4 inches across, but you can wire wrap any kind of stone that you have. I just love the colors and the beautiful design in it. And you'll need some wire. In part 2 of the video, I'll show you the beads and the accent materials. This is just 20 gauge dead soft wire. You'll need a number of tools. Some bail making pliers with a 7mm mandrel, chain nose pliers, wire cutters, nylon jaw pliers, round nose pliers, and a Sharpie will be helpful. So the first thing you'll want to do with whatever it is that you're wire wrapping, and you know, it doesn't just have to be an ammonite, it can be any kind of stone. This is a slice of geode that already has a hole for stringing, but you could wire wrap it as well, and you would use the same techniques. But whatever you have, you need to determine how much wire is going to go all the way around it. And I've found that this is easiest done with just a scrap of fine gauge. This is probably 26 gauge wire. And I'm just going to start up here, and we'll probably have this kind of curve into that bend a little bit. And then just wrap all the way around the edge of your piece, and then add about 6 inches to the end, 4 to 6 inches, and that will give you the measurement for the wire that you need for wrapping. For my 1 3/4 inch ammonite, I've cut 3 8.5-inch pieces of 20 gauge wire and also a 7-inch piece. And the first step is just to make a few wraps around your bundle of 3 wires with your shorter wire. And this will do all the wraps, by the way. It's just easier to start with a long piece. So I'm going to find the approximate center, and I'm going to hold the tail of wire with my non-dominant hand, and then just do a few wraps. You can do as many or as few as you like. I think 4 or 5 looks good. It really is all in proportion to the piece that you have. And then bring your wire around so that both tails are going to end at the same spot. And then just go ahead and trim off your wire. And you can use chain nose pliers to not only squish those coils together if they're apart, but also to flatten those wire ends. Then just shape your wire a little bit. Kind of use your fingers and curve it to the same shape as your piece that's to be wrapped. And determine where you want your other wraps. Now they will slide around a little bit until we secure them, but I found just having a few marks with a Sharpie here kind of helps me to at least get them started close to the right spot. So then take the rest of your wire, your shorter piece, and go ahead and make the same number of wraps at each of those spots. So here we are with the wrappings begun, and now you just need to pull out 2 of the wires. The way this works is 1 wire traps the front, 1 wire traps the back, and 1 wire stays along the edge. And I like to try to make sure I keep the same edge wire all along. This is probably the trickiest part of the whole project, is just getting this shaped in there, and it just takes a little bit of persistence. And if you can push those front and back wires over, it will help hold your ammonite in place. Now this has slipped up, and it will do that, and you just keep pushing it back down to where you want it to be. Definitely the fiddliest part. And then for this bit, I like to just take the edge of my bail making plier and just kind of shape that curve. And just keep messing with it and push those 6 ends up so that they're at a 90-degree angle, because this will be part of your bail and also your wrapping and what this will hang from. And you can take your round nose pliers if you want to and just kind of shape these pieces a bit more and get the back as well. And you could tweak these a bit more afterwards, but let's get it secured at the top now. So once you're satisfied with where all your wraps are and your wires are, I'm going to hold this bundle, and I like to find the longest wire up here and bend that down at a 90-degree angle to the rest of them. And next find the next 3 longest wires, and I'm going to wrap those around the 7mm loop on my bail making pliers. I think having 3 pieces of wire on the bail looks nice, but you can do less if you want. You can do 1 or 2. And then go ahead and pop your Ammonite out for a moment so that you can finish the wrapping, the loop on this bail, because it's in the way otherwise. And then just go ahead and wrap those so that they finish the loop. And then grab the ends right below that loop and bend them all down to a 90-degree angle. Now we'll get this all held together. So pop your Ammonite back in there. Make sure it's seated just the way you want it. And then hold all these wires together. Kind of pinch them all together a little bit. And then take this longest wire that you had set aside, and I found this is best done by holding the end with a pair of chain nose pliers, so you can do some nice firm wraps, because there's a lot here to bind together. 3 looks nice. Do however many you think looks good. Trim off your excess wire. Make sure to tuck that in. And then go ahead and tuck your bail making pliers back into your bail. Give those a nice shape. You want them all to be even and round. These wires that are the ends of that bail, I'm just bending up so that nothing slips. And now that you've got your Ammonite mostly secure in there, now you can take the time with your You can take your chain nose or your round nose pliers and give the wire a bit of a twist. And that will definitely secure it in there. And then repeat on the front. And give it as much of a twist as you like. This is kind of decorative as well as being functional in that it tightens the wire up around the Ammonite. One more time. Straighten your bail wires. And now these last few wires that are left hanging, you can just take your round nose pliers and make little spirals and loops as decoration. And when you make a spiral, you start with the very tips of your round nose pliers and get the smallest possible loop, and then switch to chain nose pliers to continue curling that loop around. So then, after much fiddling about, I finally am satisfied with my bail and my loops and ready to make this into a necklace, which I will show you in part 2. Once it's published, there will be a link to it right here. So this is a technique I definitely recommend that you practice first in some inexpensive wire and give yourself a chance just to get the feel for it. But it's very satisfying to think that you can take anything, any piece of stone or gemstone or pretty chunk of something that you find, and turn it into a pendant with just some wire. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe to my channel so you see more like it, and check out my blog keepsakecrafts.net. Up on the screen are a couple more wire wrapping videos I think you might enjoy. Thanks so much for watching. Happy creating. Bye-bye.